Hi, I'm Colton McDaniel with the Springfield Christians, and I really look forward to our study together in the month of September. The book of Philippians is a beautiful letter from Paul and Timothy to the church that was in the Roman colony of Philippi. Paul uses this letter for two reasons. One, to let the church know how he is doing, but also that he can give encouragement to this church and the Christians there while they are struggling. And Paul jumps right into lifting up this church. After his typical introductory address, he says, "I thank my God upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine." Paul was thinking about this church constantly in eternal gratitude. Many hardly think about the church except on Sundays, if even then. But the church is God's people. They are the representation of heaven on earth because they are a people that are of life and holiness. And if we're going to be spending eternity with the church, then we need to start by thanking God for them now. And notice what Paul prays for and how he prays for these Christians. We already mentioned his thankfulness for them, but he also prays for and with full and inexpressible joy. As well, he prays for the unity and fellowship that they have together. Paul had a relationship with these Christians. They learned together, taught together, wept and rejoiced together in the things concerning the gospel of Christ. This goes to illustrate that we, as the church, also must be one in purpose. We have a close relationship with each other, especially in the gospel, because we are God's children bound for glory. Thus, we also ought to be praying for the spreading of the gospel. And though we work together in the gospel, we must never forget that all glory must be to God. In verse 6, Paul says, "I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion in the day of Christ." God allows us to be a part of the work, though it is His work, by us sharing the gospel with others. So, as the old hymn says, we'll work till Jesus comes. Paul prayed this way because he had them in his heart. He loved these people in all circumstances. And this is exactly what Christ taught, that what would set Christians apart as different from everyone else is their love for one another, just as He loved us. That means to the extent that we would die for one another. Even on the rough days, I must care for those who are around me, my coworkers, my friends, my family, my wife, and for the church. Paul loved God's people in chains. In fact, I think we could even say that part of what got Paul through this difficult time was his love and care for the church and their love for him. Remembering our fellow Christians in love, gratitude, and prayer solidifies our faith. Take time to pray for the church today. And join us tomorrow for another study in Philippians.